Hello, everyone. This is Dumb Diddly recording my first ever video. So, what I plan to do is do a little series called Where's the Fun? And perhaps that's a self explanatory title, but just in case it's not, I'll explain what I aim to accomplish in this series. So, the whole idea is all of us, if you're into video games, chances are you watch video content all the time about your favorite video games, new games, etc. And I feel like a lot of the times, uh, content creators who play video games as if it's their full time job, because usually it is their full time job, their way of interacting with games is usually quite different than your sort of just everyday person. And it can give sort of a skewed perspective on how a player may interact with the game. So what I aim to accomplish in my Where's the Fun series is basically to just get straight to the point of what makes a video game fun, what's the gameplay loop, what does it look like to sit down and play a game for 30 minutes, because for your average working person who has, extra responsibilities and isn't getting paid to play video games, sometimes all we have is 30 minutes to play. So I think it's important to, look at what can a player accomplish in just 30 minutes. Is it a satisfying gameplay session, etc. Some video games are going to pass that test better than others. Here I am in Ghost of Yōtei, and not to spoil the results a little bit, but I've already done a little bit of a 30-minute playtest here, and it passes with flying colors. If there's anything you can say about Ghost of Yōtei, it's that it has a very tight gameplay loop. It makes it very easy for the player to find things to do very quickly. You can have downtime, if you stay off of your horse and just walk around. I actually like to do that a lot, but if you are on your horse, you're going to be finding activities very quickly. So let's just get into the meat of it. Looking here at Ghost of Yōtei. So perhaps you've already purchased this game, maybe you're considering it. In case you don't know, this is a PlayStation exclusive action adventure game. It incorporates, you know, melee combat and stealth combat as well. I'd say it's less stealth focused, more focused on active combat. I am playing on a PS5 Pro. It looks great. I'm sure it looks great on a base PS5 console as well. Um, but here I am playing in the sort of ray tracing pro mode. So this is just about as pretty as this game can look, and it certainly looks very pretty, in my honest opinion. So before I get into what looking, or rather, what playing the game looks like, I do think it's important to also look at the menus, because when you're playing a game, you're not just in the world. A lot of the times, depending on the type of game it is, you're also spending a lot of time in the UI, in the menu. Um, and I'll say with Ghost of Yōtei, you shouldn't be spending too much time in menus. In fact, you'll probably be spending less time looking at your map and looking at menus than most open world games, just based on how it's designed. They actually keep the sort of RPG aspects of the game very light, actually lighter than I would prefer. I like RPGs. There are no numbers at all. I'd actually prefer it if there were. You can see there's little bars on the bottom left here, sort of telling how strong you are in whatever category, uh, just to give you very basic information. And, it still gives the feeling of progression of, okay, this bar isn't full. I'd like to see it full. So that still kind of gives you this semblance of, okay, here's something I'm working towards. But your like armor or whatever is almost entirely cosmetic, minus these little perks that are attached, and these perks get more powerful as you upgrade your stuff. So that's part of progression as well. So you're just kind of picking up stuff, materials as you explore. You're getting money by doing missions, etc. I'd say the charms are probably the most RPG type thing, where you're sort of creating a build. Um, in the amount of time I've played, I haven't gotten too many of these. And again, they avoid using any percentages, any numbers, or whatever. They use terms like minor, moderate, major, massive, etc. And you're supposed to sort of guess what that means. I guess it works enough. Again, I would prefer a more traditional RPG style, but if you are a person who hates menus and being in menus in your video game, then I suppose this is what you want. Um, Unlike even the previous game in the series, Ghost of Tsushima, which had traditional level ups, for basically anything you did in that game, you got XP. They don't have that in this game, and I actually don't like that. I like the feeling of getting XP and leveling up and getting skills. You still have your skill trees in this game, but yeah, you have to find these altars of reflection in the open world to get your level ups, basically, which is cool because I mean it encourages you to explore, but at the same time, I don't know. I kind of like just leveling up by doing whatever I want in the game. But yeah, I mean, and I guess that kind of gets us into the open world, which is what this game is. I'd say it's quite committed to being an open world game. So you don't always see that in open world games, where sometimes it's the game is a open world. It has an open world, but it really is more reliant on getting the open world is more just a place for you to move around and get to the next mission, which is a sectioned off area with more linear level design, etc. And this game can have that, but the thing is, like, it doesn't feel like this game is separated into a campaign and side missions and whatever. The open world really is the entire thing, and it does a really good job of making your interactions with the open world feel important and not just like side stuff. It's pretty interesting with how they manage to make everything feed into each other. So as you're doing like side quests, you're getting these little cards or whatever that are giving you information about where sort of the main bad guys are that you're trying to hunt down. And it's pretty interesting. And yeah, you'll collect sort of information about where stuff is. I mean, if you really get down to it, it doesn't function too differently from other open world games, but the way it's, I guess, delivered to you feels more organic. And I really like it. And the thing is, I was just in the map screen, but the way they actually designed the open world really makes it so that you don't have to go into the map very often at all. There is fast travel, and it is basically instantaneous, so it's very functional. But for me, if I'm playing an open world game, I want to feel like I can be in the world and get immersed in everything and not have to open the map. And I'd say Ghost of Yōtei and Ghost of Tsushima before it are some of the best at delivering information to you organically while you're playing the game in the world, which I love. So you'll see here that, even if you're just looking on the horizon, it does sort of the Far Cry thing of having plumes of smoke everywhere, so we can see sort of the more dark, smoky smoke is probably telling you that it's probably a bad guy camp or something, whereas the more just clear, wispy smoke could be whatever. It could be a friendly camp, a little side quest, whatever. I also think the game does a good job of having just people moving throughout the world pretty organically. These look like bad guys. I don't know for sure if they are. They could be merchants, whatever people, and sometimes you can even like talk to them. Okay, these are bad guys. I won't fight them right now, if it'll let me. But yeah, the game does a really good job of just feeling alive when they're gonna attack me. Oh shoot! Okay. Alright. I guess I can show a little bit of combat here. Whew. So I am playing on the hardest difficulty. I don't know if it's really the hardest difficulty. It's not the lethal mode where you like die in one hit, but it is the hardest regular difficulty. One thing you should know about me is I just prefer to play on the hardest difficulty usually. As long as it's a genre I'm comfortable with, which I'm very comfortable with action adventure games. Especially when they have RPG mechanics, I find that, I want to feel incentivized to invest in the RPG mechanics, and I'm really only going to feel that way if the game is hard to some degree. I want to feel like progression is necessary to succeed, and a harder difficulty accomplishes that much better than a normal difficulty in most cases, especially in these more mainstream AAA games where they're catering more towards a casual audience first and a hardcore audience second. But I think this game does a pretty good job of being difficult, at least early game, which I am pretty early. And I took those guys out pretty easily. Well, anyway, so you have sort of a general idea here of what this game is. So let's do our little 30-minute test. So I'm going to start a 30-minute timer, and I'm just going to play the game, and we'll see what happens. And it will hopefully just give you an idea of what you could expect from a short 30-minute session whenever you're playing the game. And I'll try. I mean, there are certainly ways that obviously you could maximize your playtime, skipping cutscenes, abusing fast travel, etc. But I'm really going to try to just stay in the world, because to me, a big the part of the fun factor, part of the enjoyment factor of an open world game is being in the open world, not skipping it with fast travel. So that is the sort of gameplay experience that I want to try to capture in this test. All right. So the 30-minute timer is counting down now, so let's play the game. So as I mentioned before, we have these plumes of smoke that sort of help guide, what we probably want to be pursuing as we're playing the game. I did mention that I usually prefer to play on foot, because I just like the slower pace of being able to take in the graphics and everything. But it is pretty clear that the open world has been designed for players to be on their horse more often than not. And the big reason for that is you see these white flowers here. These actually make you go super fast while you're on a horse. So it's kind of a very clear way the developer is saying, okay, we want you to be moving around the world pretty quickly, and we have these white flowers that are going to basically just make you speed through everything. Oops. So you can see here, obviously we have these materials that you're picking up as well while we're playing the game, feeding into that progression. So I just naturally, was driven towards this interesting looking little island here. And it's fairly cool because there was no quest marker or anything leading me to this spot. It was entirely just the visual aid of an interesting landmark. And it looks like I've stumbled onto something. I don't know what it is. So it would seem this is a victim of one of the bad Yōtei 6 guys. I don't know if this is really a quest or anything, or if it's more just like something in the world it makes the world feel more alive, because I'm just seeing a victim of one of the bad guys, and that's super cool. A little player discovery. I love it. Now the plume of smoke system works best when you're in these open fields. I've noticed that when you're in like the denser foresty type areas, it feels harder to navigate the open world without opening the map, but it seems like the game does a pretty good job of putting you in these open plains. Because here I'm truly spoiled for choice. I have countless plumes of smoke I could go towards. So I'm just going to go towards this one here in the center and see what's going on. And I'll say, of course, I'm picking up my own save here, where I'm pretty early game. I just got the first sort of new weapon, the dual katanas, from one of the earliest story missions. But I've done a decent amount of just exploring in the open world. I don't know if whenever you discover things, if the plumes of smoke go away, or what. Oh. So even as I was chasing down that plume of smoke, this little birdie here is another organic way the game is guiding me towards something of interest. So let's see what this is. はて、おめえも山へお参りに来たんげ？もう久しく供え物をしてない。山か。山で育ったみなしごの昔話があったな。そのみなしごを山に導いたのは狼だったとか。 So this is truly a great example of how the game just guides you very organically to these, interactions, whether it be a quest. I mean, this could be a quest. I really have no clue. And that's great. It could be just a conversation. It seems questy. Riddles. Whoa. A boy was lost and alone, but wolves came from every corner to guide him, their eyes gazing at the true Mount Yōtei. So that's a riddle. And I just love that. I don't know if any of you have looked at Assassin's Creed Shadows from earlier in this same year. The Ghost of Yōtei came out. And I do enjoy that game, and I do enjoy a lot of Assassin's Creed games, but one thing I don't like, that even previous Assassin's Creed games have done better, I feel like, is it really, really, really relies on your map and quest markers and all of these things. The world is huge, but it's really not that dense. If you're just like in the world and you're not opening the map, you're really not going to be finding stuff to do very easily, besides just like the most basic enemy camps that don't really have any interesting loot or anything. They just kind of give you materials, and they're all very repetitive. But this game, as you can see just from like the 5 minutes I've been playing, has already very seamlessly guided me towards interesting things to interact with. Whoa. This looks cool. I feel like getting into some combat, so let's see how this goes. Yeah. So we have the standoff mechanic, which is kind of just like a little cinematic thing to clear an enemy or two before you get into combat. I don't even see any other enemies yet. Oh, there we go. So before I do that, one of the new mechanics in this game is you can pick up stray weapons and just toss them. That's cool. What's this? Well, got through that pretty easily. Combat feels amazing. So you'll see here that a lot of the times for these sort of just, mini side quests, like not a true side quest, just a little open world interaction, a lot of times the reward for interacting with them is information, which I think is really cool. And that's a way that you're sort of, the stuff that you do, the open world activities, sort of just organically feed into the main quest, is that, yeah, you're just given information. And I don't know how important it is that you have this information versus if you're just run straight into a quest, but I do think it's cool. Even if it is just a presentation trick, it feels good. Okay. I will say, I don't know if gameplay variety is necessarily the best, because, chances are, if you're finding in little open world activity like that, more often than not, it's just going to result in you killing some dudes. Luckily, the combat feels amazing, so that's not a problem. Look, and just like that, I just found a little chest. We love chests. We love opening chests. Feels great. I love that. I feel like some people deride this game and a lot of PlayStation exclusives as being sort of like games made for the ADHD brain, the TikTok generation, because boy is it very much a, you know, you can't go 2 seconds without finding something that's gonna scratch a little part of your brain. Okay, so right now I'm not really chasing anything in particular, although this looks interesting. Well, what do you know? Another little quest.
こんな流れ者にお侍が声をかけるとは。のっぴきならんでな。それに蝦夷地のためだ。何やら邪魔されてるようだな。松前の橋を仕上げるため村の木材を譲ってるんだが、毎度橋が燃やされちまう。おそらく下手人は斎藤の手下どもだ。
So besides killing dudes, I mean, you could find yourself in a little platforming challenge. Sometimes, I mean, not like it's really all that challenging. Platforming is pretty simple, but it's still, you know, something to shake up the gameplay. But it really is a game about killing dudes, and killing dudes is a lot of fun, so I don't mind.
少しは眠りたいだろう。では決まりだ。できることなら生け捕ってくれ。尋問したい。それにしてもお侍が庶民のために橋を架けようなんてな。我らの務めは蝦夷地に秩序。
Also, you'll notice, obviously, that I'm playing in Japanese. That's just a personal choice. There is full English voice casting, of course. Voice acting, rather. If that is your preference. And I just wanted to get, once again, want to highlight the lack of UI. You know, no quest markers, waypoints, whatever. I'm just following this dude. He's taking me where I need to go. Feels great.
三十郎だ。ひとまずあんたは眠っていてくれ。三十郎、どこ行きやがった。橋を燃やせ。侍どもが来ないか見張ってろ。斎藤の手下には見えない。
Oh, we got enemies. Oh, and of course I almost forgot about stealth. Now, so far in the sort of early game, stealth feels less... Oh, wow, okay. I failed stealth immediately. Yeah, the game feels less focused on stealth than even Tsushima did. Whoa, whoa, okay. That was sloppy. Apologies for immediately failing that stealth. I do prefer to just go all in anyway, so. Whoa! Oh boy, I got disarmed. Did I mention I'm playing on hard? That's relevant. Oh yeah. I do have a bow. Oh my lord. Oh fuck. Whoa! This isn't going very well. That was rough.
動けば切る。ようやくお出ましか、三十郎。人が死ぬはずじゃなかった。すまねえ。橋を焼かせたのはてめえだな。村中の望みだ。橋なんてな、蝦夷地に文明を持ち込む道になるだけだ。そんで本土の奴らに土くれ同然。
Now, obviously, I'm pretty early in the game. I don't have that many combat tools at this point. And the game, even with its just bare mechanics, feels good. But obviously, as you unlock more combat tools, more weapons, more quick throws and all that, more tools, it just continues to feel better and better. And I could say that pretty confidently just based off of my time playing Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, that combat encounter was pretty difficult, but again, I like playing on hard because it means that that progression feels better. I mean, if I were able to just take out all of those enemies with my eyes closed right now with, hardly anything, hardly any combat equipment or whatever, hardly any abilities unlocked, I wouldn't really feel all that motivated to get more powerful. So it feels much better to me to play on hard, get my ass kicked a little bit, and feel that motivation to get stronger. Because, I mean, a lot of the open world things that you're interacting with are literally just making you directly stronger. So there's these hot springs that you can interact with that increase your maximum health. It's the only way you can increase your maximum health. There's these little fox dens with these little tiny foxes that you chase around that improve your charm slots that I showed you earlier, among other things. And then there's those, sort of ability shrines or whatever that when you interact with them, they give you your ability points. So if you want to get more powerful, you got to do the side stuff. If you just mainline the main story, you're probably going to be in for a world of hurt based on how they've designed everything. So we played for about 15 minutes, and that has been pretty jam-packed. And that just really goes to show how things have been designed here. But we continue, because wow, I can't believe I'm already satisfied playing for 15 minutes. That really shows you. This not only is that 30-minute play session probably very satisfying, but even if you just have 15 minutes, Ghost of Yōtei is the game for you. And that could be a problem with longer play sessions, and I've honestly encountered this a little bit because this game's been out for a while and I'm still pretty early in it. It's possible that the game does lack a little bit of drive, forward momentum, and it suffers maybe a little bit from repetition. And again, the way its progression works isn't my preference. It's a little bit too streamlined for my liking. So in some ways, this game really is ideal for someone who will be picking at it for a long time in short bursts, and perhaps isn't ideal for someone who doesn't have much time. What is this? What am I looking at? Enemies? Are you a bad person? Whoa, okay. I don't know what I stumbled into here. Oh, this grass is making it difficult to see.
存外悪くない死に方であろう。討ち死には侍の誉れ、そう聞いた。畜生、ここからの景色、実に明媚ではないか。
I mean, I'll say so far, the stories we've been encountering in this little play session here haven't been super interesting, but it's still impressive that, I mean, again, none of these have really been full-blown side quests. So the fact that there's even any semblance of a narrative at all, even in these little open world events, is impressive. It's cool. But that doesn't mean that it's, you know, anything to write home about. Yeah, I can't comment on the quality of the story, of the main story, because I haven't played much of it, as I've said before. So I'm looking at the world map here, and you'll see here with these yellow markers that the main quests are all pretty, like, spread apart. And that's made it pretty hard for me to, I guess, make progress in the main story, because I want to organically explore the world, as you can see sort of in the Fog of War trail here. I want to just organically explore the open world, because I'm pretty sure that's how the developers want me to play the game, but they've made the main story quests all very far apart. So that means that, you know, I could go a really long stretch of time without making any progress in the main story, and that can make, you know, it can make the pacing of the game feel real slow. So then it begs the question, what's the intended way to play? Does the developer want me to get on my horse and just run straight to those yellow map markers and make progress in the main story, or do they want me to be immersed in the open world that they built? And anytime you run into a conflict of sort of the most fun way to play, I feel like that is a little bit of a flaw of your game design. So what I'm led to believe is that I do think that really, you know, this is an open world game. It's obvious that all this attention and detail has been put into how the open world works, making it fun. So I think the developers want you to spend time in the open world. It's the way that you get more powerful. There's no level ups, there's no XP. You only get more powerful by doing those open world activities. So I think you're meant to do them. I think you're meant to spend time in the open world and just get to those main story quests organically as you explore. And what that means is that I really do think this is the game that's designed to be played in these short, 15-minute or 30-minute blocks over a long period of time. I don't think this is a game that's designed to be binged in a weekend or even like a week or two. I think it's really a game, for your everyday person who, maybe only buys a few games a year, and you have, I don't really know how long this game is, but it seems pretty meaty with the amount of content it has, especially if you're playing only, short bits of playtime at a time. So I really do think it's for that player who's only buying a few games, and this is meant to be something that you pick at over, the course of a year or however long. So we can see here that I've made my way to a bit of a full-blown enemy camp, which I love. It's very Far Cry. I mean, we've talked about how already those plumes of smoke are very Far Cry coded, and these little enemy camps are the same way. And maybe you could say that Far Cry ruined open world games because no open world game could exist today without doing the Ubisoft formula. But I mean, if it works, right? It's fun. I mean, who doesn't like clearing out camps? So, obviously, I've struggled already in combat. Just going up against even like 6 dudes, so I'm sure a full camp will probably be pretty difficult. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of stealth and clear some guys out, because clearly the game wants me to do that. Now, I really don't have that many stealth tools. Oh, alright, and I've already failed stealth, which is exactly what I was saying. You really just don't have that many stealth tools at your disposal early game. I assume you get more stuff as you play. So right now, it really doesn't seem like stealth is very viable. Oh, Okay, alright. Well, so far, this doesn't seem too unmanageable, although, okay. Maybe I take that back. Okay. Maybe I need to create some space here and think about what I'm doing, because this is going very poorly. Oh. Oh my god. Wow, my dad. Okay. Guess stealth may be required. Oh! My wolf pal has come to help me. This is a new addition in Ghost of Yōtei. I haven't really encountered it too many times, but this is great. I mean, I thought I was done for, and my little wolf pal here has helped me out. Well, nice. Perhaps I stand a chance after all, now that I'm not alone. So let's get back in there and see if we can do it. Oh, and we can do a special wolf standoff. I really like these sort of, dynamic gameplay mechanics where, there's a little bit of randomness to it, keep things interesting. Because, I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like you really have much direct control over when that wolf shows up, but, the sort of RNG of it all keeps things interesting. Well, it seems like we're handling things pretty well now that we have some help. Now, of course, there are plenty of things to loot in these enemy encampments, which is always fun. That was weird. So we're encountering more dudes with just like full body armor, which is resulting in them requiring quite a lot more hits to take out. This guy's like fully kitted out. Ooh, can't even take arrow damage. Oh, well, okay, I take that back. Alright, well, we did it. I cleared the camp. It was pretty fun. No stealth required. Oh, and as a little reward for doing the camp, we get a altar of reflection. Again, these are the things that you need to interact with to get those ability points to level up. Again, not my preferred way, but it is how it is. So what do I want to get? Probably don't want to invest in stealth because I've shown here in the last 30 minutes that I am not the best at it. Yeah, well, I think this will probably be good. I mean, I've really struggled with those heavies, so being able to create more distance with a roll, I think would probably be the best thing to do. Alright. I'm looking at my little clock here. I mean, we've sort of naturally found ourselves nearing the end of our 30 minutes. This is a pretty good stopping point. Of course, I want to get all the loot that I earned. Oh, now we have a new little merchant boy that we can interact with. Let's see what he has going on. Looks like the main thing I'd be interested in is the charms, which again, these are sort of the build crafting component. Very, very light, streamlined build crafting. So I'll go ahead and just buy both of these. I have plenty of money. And it looks like that's just about all I need. Alright. So, I think we're basically done here. Yeah, the game obviously has a super tight gameplay loop. I definitely recommend it if you have only a little bit of time to play it. So I have been Dumb Diddly. Hope you've enjoyed this first ever episode of Where's the Fun? Look forward to doing more. Perhaps the format will evolve as I make more videos. But for now, I will see y'all next time. Bye.